Talk a little bit more there, Sevadra.
Hello, test. Greetings, Age Dude stream.
Okay.
Welcome.
You should be at a similar volume level to me. All right. So we've got the video itself muted, and let's watch. I'm really interested to see this. Starting at learning to roll. When was the? Oh, I gotta turn this music down. There we go. So when was the last time you had done full game runs before you got this PB?
For this PB, I had gotten back into full game runs like a week ago.
Yeah.
But before that, I hadn't played full game for a solid month, just because I was starting with school and I got uber distracted.
Okay, right. So this was kind of not quite derusting, but you hadn't really played much.
Yeah, it was
before that week. Before that day, maybe.
I was definitely like in practice or like in good form for this run.
That's
good.
I
was also in like I was in a very good mindset throughout the entire run.
And when was your last PB? Not even that long ago, was it?
My PB before this was not that long ago. If Speedrun will load, so I can see. Let me see.
Let me reload this in higher quality. It's a little better.
Speedrun.com is apparently slow.
I mean, I can look it up myself later as well.
I'm getting there. Show obsolete runs. My PB before that was a month ago, actually. It was like right before I had stopped playing.
Yeah, so really not that long, considering the amount of time that you spent playing in between those two PBs. You know, not that many attempts have really come in between your last two PBs. So that tells me you're doing pretty well as far as improvement goes. And then you put in some IL grinding in between, didn't you?
Yes, in the time between this PB and my last PB, I had been spending a good amount of time just working on like ILs and ultimate times for like, I guess, mechanics practice. And I have since then achieved all ultimate times.
Yeah, nice. Congrats. And you really feel the benefit of that as you're doing?
Oh yeah. I feel good in my gameplay right now.
That's cool.
Like, it's in the description of like my submission on Speedrun. It's like it's happening. Like it's going to happen. And like, so I'm super confident and motivated.
Nice. I guess we're kind of making our way through the run now. And where are we looking forward to as a highlight?
So I know that like throughout the run, it's pretty like mediocre throughout until I think chapter 5 and through like halfway chapter 6. That is the best portion of the run.
Okay.
I was playing at my absolute best.
That's nice.
I was in the zone. Like it was amazing. Like
well, I mean, yeah, and there's reasons why, you know, people will say that you make a break or run on, you know, the late game, and that's it, right? It's you have so much time to save there, usually compared to the runs that, you know, most people put down.
Like, how my split dynamic tends to work is I have like an idea of the routes I use throughout the entire run. And my splits and my time improvements come from how much at a particular section I mess up. So like my time saves are a little different every time I PB.
Right.
Like I think for this PB, what happened was I had a really good chapter 1.
That looked really right now. That looked like a struggle there.
Also, yeah, that was unfortunate. I just aimed just a little too far to the right.
Little to the right, yeah. I'm always really scared to pull out the super speed there. Anyways,
But
you had a solid chapter 1 in your previous PB that you were racing against.
It really saw chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Yep.
And then I lost a little bit of time on elevator action at my previous PB.
Right.
And
so you had a little bit of time to make up there.
And then just like general small mistakes throughout, like either like taking an extra bounce in order to not die, or like, you know, taking a section particularly slow. Those are also just minor things that begin to stack up over the run, and if you pay attention, you'll probably notice that. But I was just like really aware of what I was doing the entire time.
That's good. Felt like you were in control.
I was in control, and after I got ahead, I really got ahead. So you'll see when that comes up.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. Hatchet seems to be a little bit disappointed that you didn't do transit skip.
Yeah. Transit sucks.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Sevadra. As much as I can respect somebody who goes for transit skip in their full game runs, it's not something you need to prioritize.
You know, with the stuff that I have right now, like I also noticed that you can't actually see my best possible time throughout the run. It's apparently like too far down on my splits.
Right.
But I have had a best possible time of like 35.
Okay, so you mean your sum of best splits is 35.
Yeah, sum of best splits, yes. So like knowing that knowledge, like having that knowledge of if I do everything I know how to do currently, like just
save there
with less mistakes or not dying, then I can definitely sub 40, which is my overall goal.
And did you also add in any new strats that you learned while doing ultimate times for this? Or did you mostly just stick to the same strats with better execution?
That's a good question.
Thank you. I try.
I think over the run, I think it's more that I'm just more confident to go for the somewhat riskier strats.
Right.
Like over the garden wall, like doing the super speed IL ending, and
maybe not the best example, but yeah.
Not the greatest example because I ended up failing it anyways, but
it makes a difference being willing to go for those, and
yeah, just feeling like I have smooth movement does make a good difference, like doing some of the stuff. For example, actually, yes, I can tell you, I have added, since my ultimate time grind, I have added IL elevator action into my runs, and I'm pretty proficient at it.
That's good. Say so. That's good, and we'll see that next, I guess.
I even impress Cats with it because I do the low quarter pipe launch.
Oh, really?
Like I don't jump up the ramp, but I'm still able to put myself in a jump pattern where I can get the launch consistently.
Okay, well, let's see it. Yeah, not a lot of height there. You definitely. Oh man.
Yeah, I did mess
just
it
up just with the right angle there to not bonk, any slower at all, and you would have for sure messed it up. But yeah, you said you might have messed this up a little bit. That's okay. You didn't on an RTA scale. It's not really much of a loss.
You know, it's still just something that I can like feel confident in going for.
Yeah,
it's nice.
And once you start seeing those green splits, it makes all the difference.
Yes. There's a couple of other times. The rest of my time saves really aren't for a good portion of the run. I think I am overall like solid. Like I'll probably get 1 or 2 second time saves in like every stage up until like chapter 5. But I remember I messed up uphill both ways a good chunk in my PB.
Right.
So I save a good lot of time from that.
Nice. Just let me say hi to chat here for a second. Hey, Cats. I'm here with Sevadra's, the one we're chatting with and watching a video. And Thingy, hello. Nice to see you. I am right now kind of done with my Animal Crossing maze for the time being because of the most recent patch that kind of broke the maze that I do have. So I'm working on putting together a edited video with a bunch of different streamers who were doing it, but otherwise I'm not actually able to do any more maze tours or speedruns or anything at the moment. Yeah, other than that, back to this video, and we're seeing
Speedrunning mazes does sound fun.
Speedrunning mazes is a whole lot of fun, and I'm actually really disappointed that I didn't save my PB because I was planning to get a new PB. I was planning to improve on it, obviously, and so I didn't actually save a video of myself speedrunning the maze. Kind of got lost to, Twitch replays.
Understandable. But that's just more content for you, right? In the future, eventually.
Anyways. No, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back and redo the maze because, like I said, Nintendo patched out a lot of the mechanics that I was abusing for the Animal Crossing maze, and so because of that, it's gonna take an enormous amount of effort. And that was a really interesting bounce there on Totally Tubular.
Yeah, Totally Tubular. It was something. I
haven't seen much of that outside of maybe the Steely challenge.
I do like what I do on Totally Tubular is like I do this specific jump pattern, but sometimes I will be going too fast or have too much height and then hard bounce in the middle of the pipe.
Yeah,
it's further back.
It was a good save. There's no doubt about that.
So I get a higher launch out of the pipe because I either hit it on a different part and then just launch out, or I do what I just did. And that one was more reflexive than not.
Yeah, well, I think that was not something that anybody is really used to seeing. And so, yeah, just kind of getting that save there, that on the spot backup. And the first try coggers. First try coggers. That makes you feel like you're in command of the rest of the run for at least for now.
Yeah. 32 seconds ahead, sub 12, and going into chapter 4, I believe at this point that I had said those exact words of "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a run."
We have a run. Yep. I mean, yeah, you really feel like you've got this could be the run once you get a first try Cog Valley.
I had to give a good bit of practice to Cog Valley when I came back because I had just been failing it over and over, but I had practiced it for half an hour before starting runs, and it paid off. I'll say it paid off.
Right?
It was more just remembering the motion and also not controller turning, because that was something I was doing subconsciously and I didn't realize until I gave it practice. Also, the braid backup. I didn't even think to do this. I just kind of hit the edge and then I improvised.
I am trying to figure out what went wrong. Where did you go off course? I can back this up. There's no reason not to watch it again.
So with the start that I do on braid,
you were going for the high start. I understand.
Yeah, I was going for the high start, and then I overshot my 5th jump, so I didn't slide.
So that little that little edge hit bounce kind of makes it so the feather fall is the only direction you can really go.
Yeah, but that edge hit was pure reactionary.
Well, yeah, it looked like it was coming up, so good thinking on your feet to kind of commit to it, and that was a little sketchy actually. You're feeling a little bit off after messing up that start, but you really didn't lose time. Apparently, your braid in your previous PB was also a little bit slower.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
It was what it was.
That's okay. If you're not losing much time, then that's how it is.
My mentality on losing time in this game, more than ever, is that if I can prioritize not dying over anything else, then I can always recover.
Right. Yeah, and learning those backups is something that, I guess, something that I talk about a lot. But when it comes to getting experience, it kind of comes naturally in some ways.
Yeah.
Unless you're really quick on the restart, and your trigger finger is ready to go as soon as you see that you're off course, and you never really get the chance to learn those. I think there are some runners that have that kind of ways of going
there are
about
some
things.
stages where I just like I know that there's no particularly great backup, so like if I just mess up really any small detail, then I can restart.
Yeah.
But like it also doesn't really come to that very often. So
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know.
And you know, also, you know, neither of us are playing quite on the level of Katz's or Space Kitten, where, you know, a backup that loses you 5 or 10 seconds really might be worth restarting over. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that being said, I think that backup was good and showed that you were in command and kind of knew what you were doing, even if you overshot one of those surfaces a little bit. And first try retrograde shows that you're not too shaken up by it.
Oh yeah. It was on fire. We're starting to get into the part of the run where I like kind of silence up and like put a good amount of focus into like my gameplay. As per, you know, I had a pretty nice landing here for retrograde, and I'm pretty sure the rest of my chapter 4 is really smooth. And then I just kind of realized after looking at my splits, like, oh yeah, well this could be a thing, but I'm feeling like the hype, so I ride off that momentum.
Ooh, yeah. But
besides that, besides that.
Well, I mean, sometimes you can overfocus too, and yeah. I definitely understand that as a runner myself, where, you know, just despite the fact that you're kind of focusing, you're not necessarily feeling the flow on everything.
Yeah, it took a little bit, but
and once you get into the zone again, with chapter 5 and 6, if you're in the zone for chapters 5 and 6, you can really make good on a whole lot of mistakes that you made earlier on in the run. Not that you're making a whole lot of mistakes here or anything like that, but if you're saying, you know, there's maybe some of your best chapter 5 and chapter 6 runs that you've done before, that's going to carry you to a PB just about every time.
Mm-hmm. No, I do readily admit that this run was full of a good amount of small mistakes. I had just kept it going and told myself that it's gonna be okay. Still have room to recover.
Yep.
And just like keep playing, see how it goes. That was really my mentality for the run, and it took me places. And even though I didn't get sub 40 yet, I know that I can still ride this wave.
Oh yeah, it's within your reach, for no doubt. Glad to see you're sticking with it. But having taken a break, which is definitely healthy, and having even focused on some of those individual things and gotten your practice in on an IL side of things. Now, is this a backup for you, or is this your main strategy on Ex Machina?
Ex Machina, that's my main strategy.
Okay, cool. I have seen a couple of people going for that single feather fall strat before, and seems pretty reliable.
I just feel really good with it.
Yep.
I have tried to do the other feather fall strats, and it's just, I don't know, I just kind of am more accustomed to that one.
So yes, here it looks like you're really using. This is the strat that you learned for the ultimate time, isn't it?
No, actually.
Have you been doing that one for a while?
I've been doing that Diamond in the Sky since I started running RTA, actually. It's just kind of been there.
I can't believe I didn't know that. Here looks like you got a glitch, but no, you didn't. You just you were just waiting. Okay. Sometimes you get those really annoying glitches. But I guess that usually happens when after you restart during a level.
Yeah. Well, I think how it actually is like there are certain moving platforms that if you like restart while you're like colliding with, then the glitch happens. Because it only happens on certain levels that have moving platforms, but not every level. Like I know it happens on Centripetal Force, for example.
Yep. Hatchet, really happy to see a smooth run on your Dire Straits.
Yep.
With the faster non-super jump route.
We get into the good portion of the run.
What? Epoch?
Chapter 5.
Or not Epoch, sorry. Archaearchy?
Archaearchy.
I would not describe Archaearchy as the good portion of the run, but unless you get an exceptional run on it, I guess.
And really everything after Staying Alive, I'm just kind of super proud of.
Yep.
Like I think you'll be excited to see what I end up doing.
Yeah, once you get past Staying Alive, there's really not any more breaks left in the run.
Yeah.
Although you did say that you are going to be saving some time on uphill both ways, so fair bit of action there. And I mean, obviously, when Katz is running this category, Staying Alive is one of the highlights of the run. In this case, we're just kind of we're going to sit back and we're going to chill a little bit, take a little break,
get a sip of water,
get some Diet Coke, not sponsored. Get some vitamin water. Actually, a better chance of getting sponsored by vitamin water, I think. If I can open the bottle, otherwise they won't sponsor me. So what are you thinking here as you're getting through? You're a minute and 14 seconds ahead. What
I'm thinking here.
Are you anxious? How are you feeling at this point in the run?
This is when I'm able to put myself in a mindset where I'm confident, but I'm also able to face a challenge ahead. Like at this point, I know that there's a challenge ahead, but there's also a very realistic possibility that I sub 40 this run.
Yep.
And when I'm able to put myself in a mindset where I'm determined to do this, like that's kind of where I thrive in playing in flow state. Like,
well, I'd be guessing that your best possible time here is something like a high 38 at this point in the run.
It's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was exactly because I, at this point, just started paying attention to the game.
Yep.
And just started playing. And, after Staying Alive, I was just like, let's do this. Let's get this done. So, I just kind of zoned really in and just go hard in it. I get Gordian Edge hit, which is also always something fun. And
it saves so little time, but it gives you so much confidence when you're like, yeah, I totally did that.
Oh yeah.
There's that.
I think
me
being able to do Gordian Edge hit does also
that little super jump thing was sad.
Yeah, I can usually get up there. I just super jumped to the wrong place.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, getting that Gordian Edge hit, I guess, is attributed to my practice with IL Gordian. Even though I had gotten that before I had considered ultimate times, going for a top 5 on Gordian did help me with that.
Right. Nice Crystalline Matrix skip. You did the trim setup, but you did it really quickly. So getting that extra consistency without really sacrificing much or any time versus a sharper corner cut.
Yeah.
So good job there.
That's another one of those things where it's like I am on that high. I'm on that momentum where I am confident in taking less time to set it up and just understanding the flow of the game a lot better in that situation.
Although maybe a little trigger happy on that reset button here on Contraption, which is too bad. But again, your sum of best at this point is not, or not your sum of best. Your best possible time at this point is not actually going to happen. and you already kind of know that going in. As much as we like to dream that we'll get through chapter 6 on pace with all of our goals, it's pretty unlikely.
It's quite the monumental ask.
But I guess you already knew. Were you thinking ahead to the fact that you had time to save here on uphill both ways?
Yes.
So that's a bit of a consolation for your contraption there.
We'll see when we get out of here, because I don't mess this up, I believe. Yeah, I had 54 seconds on contraption just because of missing that, and then restarting.
Well, still being 54 seconds ahead after that is, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but I had just known that there was still extra time to save here.
It looks like you saved 6 seconds on uphill both ways. So maybe it was the previous PB that you had, a lot of time to save or something like that.
It's somewhere in chapter 5, and maybe early chapter 6 actually, because
But you're gonna jump significantly ahead of 1 minute, is what you're saying.
Not a minute, more like 45 seconds.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still pretty significant.
That feels good. And we're looking forward to that. All right, so I hear this this collision has been fixed in Mayhem. Probably one of the more exciting things that I've seen in Mayhem.
I wouldn't know myself. I haven't gotten to play Mayhem yet.
I haven't played it either. I did watch a certain stream, and had a little bit of fun watching all the different levels, and maybe critiquing it a little bit as well. A little bit of constructive criticism. That was a good stream.
It sounded like fun, but I wanna keep waiting.
Yep. Right. Smooth vertigo. Okay, yeah, there. So you jumped ahead an extra 37 seconds on vertigo.
Oh yeah, okay, there it is.
So maybe that was either a run where you had fallen off several times, or maybe a place where you accidentally restarted earlier in your previous PB.
I think what happened was I had tried to go for a solid start, and I had just kept restarting. Also, yeah, that's unfortunate for Warp Core, but didn't lose too much time again. And again,
probably about a 20-second difference there, which is fine.
Kind of my main thing is I apparently also had a lot of time to save on Warp Core, I just noticed. But yeah, so I have these moments where I get ahead,
yep,
and gain a lead, and then it's just I make small mistakes and then I lose time, and that just adds up.
Yes,
and that's why I don't PB, or I'm just on par for throughout the run. It's just I have those small moments of inconsistency, and I feel like I can challenge that at this point. I feel I have a good enough grasp on the mechanics of the game and the movement and the collision and understanding of bounces and a somewhat spin control. I'm still working on my spin control. It's not the greatest, but I've gotten to a point where I'm just really confident, and I'm not making major big losing minutes at a time mistakes anymore.
That's good. Well, many commentators over the years have talked about momentum when it comes to any kind of competition or any kind of sport or anything like that. And there certainly is some truth to it in that your mental state is going to affect your performance. And when you're doing well, you're likely to keep doing well, just as long as you don't get too overconfident with it. So
yeah,
having that practice behind you was always going to help.
It's just taken me a while to get to that point with this game, because I had I think it was because I had set the bar too high for myself too early. It's I think it was how do I word this? The encouragement of like the community and the people that are like in the Discord is like good and nice, but them having like told me like, yeah, you can get a world record, no problem, and then like having that arbitrary time limit of like, you know, when's Mayhem gonna come out? How long do I have to try and grind for a world record? It's like, you know, that kind of like put pressure on me, and I started like, you know, panicking, like, okay, I got to get really good at this really fast, and you know, do this thing like immediately.
Yeah.
And it was.
Turns out you had more time than any of us actually realized.
Yeah, and I realize now that I have a good amount more time, and if it doesn't happen before Mayhem, I won't be too beat up about it because I'm more looking forward to just figuring out Mayhem and then using that as my time to shine.
I imagine as long as there's a Steam build available, you know, as well for me having that sub 40 benchmark there as something to come back to and maybe be able to do someday as I've, you know, gotten more time and experience with Mayhem physics and or not Mayhem physics, but just the game in general. There's a little bit of comfort to that, knowing that it may be an option. But I would definitely like to get a sub 40 as well before Mayhem comes out, if possible.
We did gloss a little bit over it, but I actually implemented a newer route, better route for Platinum Playground, and I had been practicing with my turning for the wall gems, and I got them first try.
Very good.
You'll see in a couple seconds why that's good for mostly my splits, but also for me.
Interesting. A gold split, 146. Gold. Very good job.
A gold split by 10 seconds, no less.
By 10 seconds. Okay, see, that's pretty significant. Wow.
And then
I don't even know what happened there. But looks like you're going to be able to make it to the gravity platform.
Yeah, that's
what an interesting save. I haven't seen that before. So nice job staying alive there. Good on you for putting the priority there on staying alive, knowing that you hadn't quite gotten a checkpoint yet.
Yeah.
Some people would certainly have restarted there, but you saved the time.
That bounce was probably like 3 seconds. It wasn't much.
Take your time lining it up. That's good.
Yeah, I didn't go for the sweet ending there because I had gone too fast and had to pull back.
Good radius finish. Good radius finish. You can't complain about that one.
Hi. Do you want to join in on the conversation, little boy?
Umbra's, you can't really see it here on stream, but Umbra's saying, "Who am I watching right now?"
Oh yeah, Cats and Umbra were saying that like throughout my chapter 5. They were very impressed with my patience and focus throughout that portion of the run. But Cats has said at the end of the stream, it gets cut off before like from the VOD and the highlight. But Cats has said afterwards that was the most hype this run was the most hype he's been for full game.
That's really cool.
In a long time.
That's really cool. And you know, it's really showing that your practice paid off, or has been paying off up to this point in the run. So I'm interested to see what you're doing on Centrifugal Force. Okay, you are taking the little part cycle faster than the strat that I normally use. So good job.
I passed the controller to. I did not pass the controller to Katz's. Okay, listen, I'm good.
No backup for that one. Interesting.
It's not that I wasn't no backup. It was because I had gotten the checkpoint.
Okay. For future reference, my usual backup for that situation is I will kickflip off of the second of those three, and I'll use that to get up to the Yeah, I'll use that to get up to the super jump.
Yeah.
And then you can either get the second checkpoint above, or if you're feeling a little bit cocky, you can just skip the checkpoint altogether. Not that I would recommend that. That's not what I would actually do. I would
like
go get the
my
second
instinct
checkpoint.
had told me, like, because I had gotten the checkpoint, I like, to restart there, just because like I didn't want to spend the time going for the checkpoint up top again, because I know I can do the first kickflip. So
Yeah, and you didn't waste the
time.
time, right? So because you can do the first kickflip, there's really not any time loss compared to doing the backup. I think maybe I got into the habit of doing the backup because I was never really all that good at first kickflip. But the backup was super consistent for me if I were ever to need it. So I guess you didn't need it because you knew you could do it. Second try. Praying that you don't get a crusher glitch here.
I did not get the suck on this run. I did get the suck earlier this stream though.
Earlier in the same stream. Were you on pace?
Earlier in the same stream. I was also on pace.
Oh no. Not this far on pace though.
No, it was more like 30 seconds, but it was still tragic.
Yeah, that does sound like quite the bummer.
Did you miss anything good? Yeah, you missed the good portion of the run that you were like you were impressed by when I had run it. And now we're in the home stretch. And well, you'll see what happens.
In the home stretch, a minute and a half ahead of your previous PB, and I mean, spoiler alert, this is a PB. So we know, even though there may be a couple of Olympus failures, that you are indeed going to come out ahead of your 4140. Maybe I shouldn't have spoiled that. I don't know. This is live, by the way. In case you guys weren't aware, this is me currently playing through the game at the best pace that I've ever been on. Currently just over 36 minutes in, and definitely going to get myself a nice PB. I'm just going to edit this submission a little bit and change the name. Otherwise, it's this is an automatically verified run. Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Sevadra. I knew you would support me.
Yeah, so this was that rock hit there was where I had begun to lose composure.
Yep. Yep, I would too.
Very unfortunate part of that. Like I didn't like tilt off the face of the earth because I had decided to commit to the run and just finish because I knew I could still PB. But at this point, sub 40 was dead, which was a little tragic on the brain. But
yeah, I mean, there's going to be a bit of a tilt no matter what happens in this case, right?
Yeah,
I can totally see that. I can totally see that. But I think maybe sub 40 before Olympus was kind of barely possible, based on if I'm looking at the timer correctly now, to say, okay, you could have finished Olympus at around a 37:20, ideally, which still doesn't put you in easy sub 40 pace, but
it was not like
with a perfect Olympus, it was possible.
It was not free by any means, but I was definitely still confident. Like before I died.
Certainly, I could have been a sub 40 before Olympus, but a perfectly clean Olympus, Tangle, and Stratosphere is a lot to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And so, still coming out of that 45 seconds ahead.
Katza says, to my credit, I kept my composure a lot better than he would.
Safe strats here on Tangle. If you were on sub 40 pace, do you think you would have gone for the faster RTA?
I would not have gone for faster Tangle, but I I would have had to have decided like after Olympus if I wanted to go for the faster RTA on Tangle or do the loop skips on Stratosphere, and
Right.
I would have opted for the loop skips.
Okay.
So I've practiced those more.
So it would have been a really tight squeeze then with that Tangle.
Fairly, yeah.
I definitely don't blame you. I don't think I've ever once gotten the faster Tangle strats first try in an RTA run myself.
And yeah, since I didn't care, I didn't do the first loop skip for Stratosphere, and it doesn't go perfect.
Well, that was interesting. That was definitely interesting.
It's like I had usually what happens is like I would go around the loop 3 times, and then like wait another cycle of that thing like moving out of the way.
Yeah, that's never happened to me. I would always bonk run the second try. If I was going to try to do that.
Fast Tangle is 25 seconds faster. It's worth it. I know that it's like definitely faster. I had just not been as practiced with it at this point as the loop skips. So in the situation where I had to go for either one in order to try and get sub 40, I would have gone for the skip.
Well, I get it. I mean, I've practiced Fast Tangle a lot. And again, like I said, I've never once gotten it first try. Often I'll end up wasting quite a lot of time to the point where I won't even try it if I'm on pace. Unless I'm just like 20 seconds behind or something like that. Then I'll go for it, with the hopes that it will keep my PB dream alive. But, ooh, mess up the potential for the save there. But again, still on a clean PB pace and not on a sub 40 pace. So you didn't lose too much there. Also, probably not a sub 41 pace either. So you didn't miss the sub because of that or anything like that. And you had the checkpoint, so it's okay.
Yeah. Overall, I came out of this run like disappointed, but not broken. Like I was a little disheartened because of taking the majority of the run, like doing really good in the mid section and like coming out of early game with some force.
Yeah.
And then on the last 3 stages, just like.
Well, if we look at the time difference, it looks like when you finished Confluence, you were a minute 25 ahead. So let's call that an extra 55 seconds ahead of where you finished. Let's get this back to the finish so we can kind of see everything here. About 55 seconds faster than you finished, and you were a minute and 8 seconds off. You actually saved time on Tangle by getting a clean first try on your RTA thing. So with Olympus and with Stratosphere, I mean, I would have been a little disappointed too, as would anyone with the hopes of getting the sub 40, but you certainly have easily proven that it's within your reach and within your abilities. Katz, we already watched Atham's trophy run, but we are also going to watch Atham's most recent RTA PB next. Did I lose you, Sevadra? I cannot hear you at the moment. Okay.
I just wasn't.
Yeah. So yeah, good job. Excellent work on that PB, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your next PB, even if it's in the 40s. That's fine. But knowing that it could be 39, who knows? If you skip 40 altogether, again, that's totally within your reach of doing. Especially if you're playing a fair amount of RTA in the near future, you could definitely pull it off.
Yeah, I will definitely be going like into like the swing of it again as I'm finished with my like first exam season, so I'll be able to kind of chill out on like school and not be as super stressed. I'll be in a good place mentally, and yeah, I just believe I can do it. it's going to happen.
Very,
Speak
very
it
cool.
into existence.
Well, speak it into existence and practice it into existence, and just put in the attempts. I think for me, again, also, I think I'm also within reach of getting a sub 40, but the reason I haven't done it is because I haven't put in the work. But you have been putting in the work, and that's why if we look at the leaderboards right now, we've got Sevadra there with his 41 minutes and 8 seconds ahead of Age Dude 44 with 41.45. So good job. I haven't set a PB in the last 3 months, but again, that just goes to show that you've been putting in more work than I have, and so that gets you ahead. Good job.
I believe in you. I believe you got what it takes.
Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. So now that we are kind of past this section of the stream, is there anything else that you kind of wanted to say about your future in speedrunning Marble Up?
As for the direction of like my future, my current goals as it stands are for sub 40 RTA, and then getting a solid grind down to contend for a world record, an IL world record.
Right.
The level I'm looking at right now the most is Head in the Clouds.
Ooh, you're not even keeping it a secret.
So I'm going to start going hard in that towards like the middle of the month.
All right. Nobody tells Snowboarder.
Everybody is going to tell Snowboarder because Snowboarder knows everything somehow.
Yep.
He is God. He is outside my window and your window at the same time.
Absolutely. Looking at chat here. Yeah, Olaf, you can get a sub 50. You've got the experience and the talent to get a sub 50 without much trouble. Again, you're just kind of in the same place where I am. That if you put in the attempts, then it's yours to take with a small amount of work. Space Quack, same thing. I mean, basically everyone on this leaderboard is. You could look at every single name here and say they have so much more potential to improve than what they show here. I mean, look at DK's run. That was over a year ago, a year and 3 or 4 months ago now at this point. And, he hasn't really touched the game much since then. Hatchet, despite being one of the more experienced and accomplished players, hasn't actually done that much RTA. Sevadra in 6th place, you've got a lot less time in the game than basically everybody above you on the leaderboard. Because for maybe Atham, I don't know how much time Atham has, but Atham's kind of a god at everything he touches. So I wouldn't really know how much time he's put in there. Yeah, and Space Kitty, well, I mean, Space Kitty is Space Kitty, but despite the fact that he hasn't run as much RTA as some of the other people in the top 10 or the top 5 at least, he has played a lot more of the game than I have. And yeah, I mean, I don't see that as a negative thing. I think the fact that everybody here in the top 18, I guess, which is everybody, could potentially do a lot better than they have, is, it's kind of encouraging to me. I guess I don't really want the game to be so optimized that every level has to be perfected in order to get a 2 or 3 second world record or PB or anything like that. I think if we got to that point in the game, I'd be less interested in playing RTA.
But yeah, that'll be about it.
So yeah, glad I got to see your PB, and I hope that I can beat it soon.
I wish you the best of luck. I hope you enjoy Atham's run as I head out.
Atham beat us both to the sub 40, which we'll be watching now in a moment. but I guess you and I still get the chance to race there, and there's a bit of a gap between us and Umbra. So I think unless Umbra really puts in some safe strats and goes for a sub 40,
he's been trying. That's effort he's been putting in as of late. He is in the last 2 races, because there have been a couple of small races last week or over the previous week. He has been doing some safe strats and actually getting good leads.
That's kind of scary. I don't want to see what happens when Umbra puts in safe strats and plays to his potential, because he will be leaving me in the dust, that's for sure. All right. Thanks for joining me, Sevadra. Thanks for letting me watch your run on stream, and let's see what Atham has to show us this time.
Take care, all.
I'm going to take a stretch, and I'm going to hang up. See ya.